Welcome to Loco Gringo, Mexico, the place where we transform a tourist into a traveler, because you deserve to see more of the world than just what's in a guidebook. Each week, we talk with amazing locals who know the Riviera Maya and Yucatan like only a local can, and get them to share their tips and insights on the local scene, culture, and cuisine from a local's perspective. So, pour yourself a margarita, grab a comfy chair, and let's get the show going.
Buenos dias. This is Loco Gringo, Mexico, and I'm your host, Kay Walton. Thanks for joining us today. Well, I'm very excited today to talk to Mario Canul, who is the head chef and instructor at the Los Dos Cooking School in Mérida, Yucatan. Mario's taken time from the kitchen to tell us about some of his favorite places in Yucatan, not only to get a fabulous Yucatecan meal, but also to share some of his wonderful travel experiences and eating experiences in and around Mexico. So, without further ado, to be a bit corny, let's get cooking. Mario, good morning. Buenos dias. How are you?
Good morning, Kay. I'm great. Thank you for the opportunity. How are you?
I'm great. You know what? I have to really thank you again for everybody who's listening. I got the opportunity to cook with Mario, 2 weeks ago, and I had a fabulous time. And after a day in the kitchen with Mario, I said, oh, please, would you be on our podcast? I'd love to have you as a guest. And so, Mario, thanks so much for a great, fun day in Mérida cooking. I really had a great time.
It was all our pleasure to have you, and again, thank you for the opportunity to share and to know a little bit more about Los Dos Cooking School.
So, Mario, I know we talked about this. It might have even been in a taxi ride, but if you would share with our listeners, can you tell us a little bit about where you're from? I believe if memory serves, you said you were from Yucatan, but can you explain a little bit about where you came, how you grew up, and ended up in Mérida?
Of course. Well, actually, I was born in Mexico City, but it was just because my dad used to work for the Mexican Navy, and he was around that area when I was born. After that, we just spent, I think, maybe 8 months in Mexico City, and then we moved to base our family in Yucatan because my dad is from this area. So I was born in Mexico City, but in my veins are running Mayan blood. So since then, I have been living here. Of course, I have been living in other places during my life, but my base, my family, my heart, my passion is here in Yucatan.
Oh, and it's a great state, and actually, Mérida is just such a wonderful city, and I love so many of the little pueblos along the way that are outside of the city as well. It's wonderful to be there. Mario, how did you get into, and I think even, the first time I cooked at Los Dos was in 2003, and I think you were cooking with Chef David Stirling then, weren't you?
Yes, of course. I have been working here since the Los Dos Cooking School started with just the idea. So by the time when you were here, we were just starting the idea of Los Dos Cooking School, and yes, I was here. Since then, we have been working together, and I have been enjoying and learning and sharing all the passion and the knowledge that David Stirling used to have for all this area, and he was so nice and so thoughtful that passed all that knowledge to me. And now I have, the honor of keep on doing what he left, and that's why we are so proud of keep on working here at Los Dos, giving classes and packages and tours and everything that we can in order to share a little bit more the knowledge and the passion that we have for Yucatan.
That's awesome. Now, tell me, you're wonderful at sharing all of these wonderful things about Yucatan, and obviously just from your voice, you can tell your love and passion for the area. What do you like best about teaching people? I mean, I've been in tourism for lots of years, and we see a lot of people come and go, but I mean, what keeps you going? And that it's that what do you like best about interacting with students, just like you did with me a couple of weeks ago? What is some of those best parts of being a teacher in a kitchen or a
Well,
chef?
actually, I can say two reasons. One, that the first one is that I really love what I do. The cooking and the food has been in my life, my entire life. I always was surrounded by really good cooks in my childhood, and that's when I developed the taste and how I love the cooking here in Yucatan. And because I have traveled a lot around the entire Mexico area, I really think that this area is completely different. So one of the passions, of the reasons that I have in order to be so passionate about teaching, is that I really think that the Yucatecan cuisine is completely different from other places of Mexico, and that's one of the reasons that I want to share with my clients, that they experience everything in here as we do, because everything, as you already know, Kay, because you were here with us in a class, everything is very different. So one of the reasons is that, and I will say that the second reason is not less important. For me, it's a personal reason. This is my way to honor David Stirling idea and effort and passion that he used to have for the area. So for me, it's like giving back all the things, all the knowledge, everything that he was so nice to give me, to share with me. And for me, it's a way to keep on honor him, his hard work, and as you know, he was very successful with this school and his book. And now it's considered like the Bible of the Yucatecan cuisine. So that will be, I think, the most important reasons why I enjoy so much to teach Yucatecan cuisine and share all the kitchen and experiences and some laughs and good moments with my clients.
You know, you brought up a really interesting point, and I think that a lot of listeners and people around the world don't realize is that there is a difference in Yucatecan cuisine versus regular Mexican cuisine. And can you give a few examples of the differences that there are between the two different types of cuisine that makes Yucatecan cooking and food that much different from, say, Central Mexico?
Of course, I can enlist a lot of reasons, a lot of difference, but I'm not gonna get bore you. So I think for example, here in Yucatan, we really like salty, sour, hot, very condiment or spice food. The difference between this area and, for example, Central Mexico, we can tag that in a really easy example. For example, we have, as you know, maybe everyone knows what is pico de gallo. Pico de gallo sauce in Mexico, it's a sauce made from Roma tomato chopped with white onion chopped, lime, chile serrano chopped, and cilantro. That's the Mexican version. We have that too, but in our Mayan version, our Yucatecan version of that pico de gallo. Also, we have even a different name for that. We call it ixnipec, which is a Mayan word that means dog nose. Because the minute that you eat our sauce here in Yucatan, your nose will start to, you get wet because it's very, very spicy. The only difference is that we change the lime by sour orange juice, and the chile serrano, instead of chile serrano, we use chile habanero. As you know, chile habanero here in Yucatan is huge. We have the biggest production, and we are so proud of this chile. So it's, for us in Yucatan, it's like our salt and pepper. That's just one example. Also, our tamales are completely different here. We have, for example, another kind of tamal that we use here that we call tamal de espelón. The espelón is no other thing than a black eyed peas. It's very special because when we are doing this tamal, we mix the masa with this boiled, already cooked black eyed peas, and then we stuff it with the meat that we are going to use. It could be pork, it could be turkey, it could be grind, whatever you have available, and that's it. Just for an example, it's an amazing and a very special tamal. For example, we have another one that we call pip, and this pip one, as you know, pip, and many of our listeners maybe they don't know, but pip means cook underground. So this tamal is it just happened during the Day of the Dead celebration here in Yucatan. Is another thing that we do completely different from the other places from Mexico. In this case, what we do with this tamal is a round-shaped tamal, huge, but it's not soft as the other ones in the entire Mexico. This one is completely crispy. It has the size of a 12-inch pizza, and it's cooked completely underground, and that's why it gets his crispiness, and it's fantastic. It's delicious, to say the least. So I think with just those examples, you can start to have the idea how different is the Yucatecan cuisine from central Mexico, north, or other places.
Now the tamale for Day of the Dead, that's referred to as mupi pollo, yeah?
That's it. The colloquial or local name that we use it for that is PIV. P-I-V. And as you just mentioned, you are totally right. The actual real name is Mukbil Poyo, and it's very, very popular here, very famous. And the people start to be very anxious before we finish October, because the first and the second day of November is where all the people here are, cooking and having their pips, and it's a fantastic and a huge celebration here in Yucatan.
No, it's a time of year I always look forward to, and I know that we used to have a staff member, and his mom used to send a pib. She would make pib for us, and she would send a couple over to our office every year.
So Kate, how is it? It's delicious, right?
Oh, it's fantastic, and really, it's kind of, I would say, Americans look forward to having roast turkey at Thanksgiving. Well, for me, for Day of the Dead celebrations, I always like my mupi pollo, because it's just a treat to have it, and it's really yummy. Exactly.
Yeah, we agree on that.
Absolutely, we agree on that. Now, when we were talking about, your passion and some of the reasons that you love teaching and sharing your knowledge, was to honor Chef David Stirling, and you mentioned his cookbook, which I think everyone should have. I mean, it's an incredible resource, not only for cooking, but the photography is great. And if you would, what's the title of the book again?
It's Yucatan Culinary Expedition.
And that is available on Amazon, right?
Yeah, right now I think, this is kind of a bad news for our buyers, but it's a really good news for us. The first release of the book, the whole lot, it was completely sold. So now we are waiting for the next printing, and it's going to be available until April. So you're right. You can get your book pre-order in Amazon, and I think that's the best way in order to get it, because it's a really heavy book.
It is a super heavy book for sure. And I really encourage everybody to pre-order the book. And if you want to follow up with me, certainly I'll let you know when the book comes out, because I give the book as gifts. Often. I love it. I have a copy of the book, but it is something you don't want to buy this book in Mexico and try to haul it home if you live in, the US, Canada, especially Europe, because it is super heavy, and you'll definitely go over the weight on your checked bags if you buy it.
Of course.
If you buy it in Mexico. And now tell me, you mentioned that David was working on another book that it would before he passed away. He had one more chapter to finish, and I wanted to ask you what the what the plan is for this book. Will it be going to press? And what does it tell? What is this next book about?
Of course, let me tell you about it. We have been working in this book for the last 5 years, traveling a lot around Mexico, because this book is going to be focused in the markets in entire Mexico. The original idea, it was just to focus in the magical towns. The magical towns, it's a concept that the tourism secretary here in Mexico gives you or gives to the actual town with some requirements. So not all the little or beautiful towns can be a magic town. It has to, to achieve some of the requirements that they give you. And the idea of David Stirling in the early days of this project, he wanted to have the same passion and the same history or stories in the next book, but focus in the markets in these little towns. But when we were traveling and we found so many recipes, so many stories, and sometimes we have the problem that this little town is not labeled as magical town, but it's really great on the stuff, on the food, on the people that they have there. So that's why when we decided, well, actually David decided that that he was going to be a little bit more general. So we forgot about the idea, just focus in the magical towns, and we start to include all what we find very interesting in the so many places that we visit. We visit Oaxaca, we visit Chiapas, we visit Michoacan, and those places were wonderful. So by the half of the project, we already had so much information, and the editors were thinking that maybe this next book, because as you know, David really liked to write, because just Yucatan, it's a Bible, it's a huge book with so much information. And can you imagine how much information we have now from the entire Mexico? So it's going to be a huge book. So the idea of the people from the press, they say that maybe we can divide this book once that they have the entire information, all the database from photos and everything together. They may decide to divide all this information in 2 or 3 volumes. So that will be amazing for us. And right now we are in the process to send all the pictures, the text, the content that David already has ready to go. And I'm taking care of everything right now, sending to UTP everything. And we are going to wait until know what are they going to decide about that. But we are sure that this is going to be a great book.
Oh, absolutely! I'm excited, and certainly will want to get one of the first copies when it comes to press.
Of course, count with that.
That's awesome. So, what an amazing opportunity to travel with David to do research throughout Mexico for this upcoming book. Can you tell me? You must have really just had your mind blown with so many wonderful places in the country of Mexico, traveling around with David. But did you have one spot where you would say, you know what, this was my favorite spot?
Of course, I was waiting for you to ask that, because I really have one place that, for me, it blew my mind, my heart, and my taste of the food. This is located in Oaxaca. Oaxaca, as you know, it's a magical place. Everything. They have all that. They have at least between 6 and 7 different types of corn available there. As you know, in Mexico we have 65 different types of corn, but just in that state they have at least between the number that I said. So you arrive there and you see yellow tortillas, black tortillas, blue tortillas, orange tortillas, and it's just amazing. So the place that I was telling you is it's called Teotitlan del Valle. Teotitlan del Valle, it's a magical, and it's really magical town, and it's not just because they label as that. they're actually magical. The people, the food, the market is just breathtaking. Everything that they do there, it's not a waste. One of the things that it catch my attention and my heart is that the market people, they have like a schedule. For example, just for saying something, on Monday you can get turkey or chicken. On Wednesday you can get pork, and on Friday you can get the beef in the market. That means that you cannot get everything or all of it in the same day. So what it doesn't mean for them means that they don't kill animals unless they need it for the day. So there is not waste. For example, the bread is handmade and really fresh every single morning. And one of the things that catches my heart is the way how they say hello or hi to the foreigners. They have a really nice way to shake hands. They put one hand like facing to the sun, and you're supposed to put your hand on top of that. Once that you have done that, they will like make a sandwich of your hand with their hands. So they say a Oaxacan indigenous wording that I cannot remember right now how it sounds, but it means that welcome, and I hope that you enjoy this place. So it's amazing. That place just stole my heart, and we cooked, David Stirling and I, on that day with Reina Mendoza. Reina Mendoza is a really well-known cook there, and she shared with us one of their vegan recipes. It's a soup made from the flour of the pumpkin, and it was just amazing. It's one of the soups that I always remember in my mind, and I will keep in my heart.
Wow. Awesome. I now it makes me want to go and do a little culinary expedition of my own in Oaxaca.
Teotitlán del Valle is an amazing place. It's an amazing place, and everyone in the actual town, they know everyone. So it's like a huge family there every day in the market. So it's one of the things that I really enjoy. And of course, Michoacan is another place that it's fantastic. The food that they have there, it's quite amazing. Before I traveled there, I thought that the Yucatecan cuisine was, I think, the best in Mexico. But when I went to Michoacan, I found that they also have a really nice cuisine, and they have, as you know, they have all the weathers. So you can get the sweet food, spicy food, seafood. It's amazing. It's great. We spent, I think, between 10 and 12 days in Michoacan, and we had excursions every single day for different places, from different locations, and the variety and the difference in food were just amazing. So I will say that Michoacan and Oaxaca were the places that more impressed me in also in food and people and the landscapes that you can see there. They're just amazing. I really suggest, and I invite all your listeners to visit those two states, and as well Yucatan. But I think that in the next book you will realize how rich that area is in all aspects.
Oh wow. I'm really excited about this next book, and excited to do a little more traveling myself here in Mexico. Mario, I have to ask you now, talking a little bit closer to home, what are some of your favorite spots in Yucatan or in Mérida that when people come to visit Yucatan, they can experience firsthand, and they get kind of more off the beaten path type place? However, I will say I love the market, and it's certainly not off the beaten path, but it's certainly off the tourist path for sure. But what recommendations do you have for people that are your favorites in Yucatan?
Well, my favorite spots here, for example, if you're speaking to tourists, we have so many restaurants here about Yucatecan traditional cuisine, but not all of them are really good. We just suggest or recommend two of them. One is Hacienda Tella. Hacienda Tella is a refurbished old hacienda, and it's so beautiful, and the food it's great. And the thing with how they do a really nice job is that they keep the quality, and they keep doing the things that they have done for so many years. I think that hacienda as a restaurant has been working for the last 25 years, and every single time that I go there, it's the same flavor, the same environment, the staff is great. So I really recommend that place in order to have a really traditional Yucatecan cuisine. Also here in downtown, we have another restaurant that it's getting more and more popular. It's the Manjar Blanco. Manjar Blanco is a really nice restaurant that it's run now by young people. I think the son of the owner takes place there in the kitchen and is the new chef, and he's fantastic. Those are the two restaurants that I really recommend and suggest here in the area. But as you say, I have my hidden gems and the things that I really enjoy, and my favorite ones. For example, there's a little taqueria. A taqueria is a stall, is a place where they just sell tacos and sandwiches. And this is a place that it's called Guayané. Guayané is a Mayan word that it means we still here. And the amazing thing about these guys is that they start 23 years ago with just two guisos. As you know, guiso is any recipe, any full or finished recipe that you can cook, and then you can place that in a taco or a sandwich that we call torta. That's a guiso. So they start with just two guisos when they were starting 23 years ago, and now they have 25 different guisos every single morning. So they start with just one stall those many years ago, and now they have 4 different branches, and the whole concept is family concept, and it's fantastic. So the best tacos here in Mérida, for sure, it's Guayané. There's another place that it's a little town that is called Junucma. Junucma is a place, it's a little town like 15 minutes away from the city, and it's on your direction if you go to Sisal or Celestún, the beaches. So it's before that. So it's just 15 minutes away from the city. And those guys, this little town is really well known because their cochinita pibil. Cochinita pibil, as you know, is the pork cooked underground, marinated in achiote or anato seed with sour orange juice. So these guys really know how to do all this process and all the ingredients, the condiments that they use. So they even are so good at what they do. For example, I'm just gonna expand a little bit the information about cochinita pibil. These guys explained to me one day that I was having a class with them in order to know and learn how to do the cochinita. Is that when you put the metal container that includes let's say the pork leg, all the condiments, the leaves, and everything in the hole that you already dig with in order to cook inside. They have to put a specific kind of wood that we call bosch katzin, that it means white katzin. Katzin is the type of the tree. So they have to put the exact amount of wood in order to have cooked that recipe for 4 hours. That means that after 4 hours, that wood is completely ash and it won't overcook. It's just gonna keep it warm. So a really good, decent cook, Yucatecan cook that he knows how to do cochinita pibil, they know that tip. So in Junucma, every single stall of cochinita is just amazing. If you ever visit Yucatan again, be sure to visit Junucma because you won't believe the flavor of that cochinita pibil. And I think that will be my favorite ones so far. And I'm sorry, I was forgetting about one of my really, really favorite ones. This is in really close from Valladolid, on the way from Mérida to Cancun, the highway. And once that you get to Valladolid, you just turn, instead of going to Valladolid to the right, you turn to your left, like you're going to Tizimín. There's a really nice local town that we call Temozón Sur. Temozón Sur is so famous because they have developed recipes of smoked meats, unique, just unique to say the least here in this area. They do a superb work by smoking meats. They have a variety of the salty one and the spicy one. In my particular opinion, the spicy one, it's just out of this world.
I didn't know there was a spicy one. I knew there was a salty one, but wow, a spicy one.
No, the salty one is great, but the spicy one with Schnipek, it's fantastic. It's out of this world, okay? And they have developed these their own recipes. The entire town, it's focused in this economy. It's their base economy there, so they just do smoked meats and furniture because they have also really good hardwoods. So this area is fantastic. It's really, really great. And since it's so close from Valladolid, which is a really nice tourism spot, you're just between 5 and 10 minutes away from that city, and you will have the best smoked meat that you can get in this area.
It's a great place to stop for lunch if you're coming or going to the ruins of Ekbalam, which is right around that area as well.
I will say is the spot to have lunch.
Yeah. No, I know it really well, and anytime I'm up in Valladolid, I go and take a little detour up to Temozón to get some
it's great.
Some smoked meats because it's absolutely yummy.
Yeah, they're amazing. Yeah, and they're really nice people too. They like to share everything and all the knowledge. So it's a really nice experience. Just not just the food, but the people, and it's amazing.
Mario, I could go on. You and I could chat for hours, and I hope that you will come back on the show and keep us up to date with, of course, the upcoming book to come out, but continue on sharing all of your culinary experiences, and that if people want to reach out and say hi to you, get some more information about cooking with you, what's the best way for them to reach you?
Well, the easiest way to reach us is in our website, www.los/dos.com.
Okay.
Or directly to my email. My email is mcanul@los medium slash dash. I'm sorry, it's dash. It's not slash. It's dash. dos.com.
Oh, perfect. Well, on today's show notes, we'll make sure that there are links over to the website and your email address, Mario. And I really recommend, if you've got some time, to go over to Mérida, or you can make a whole adventure out of your Yucatan experience. Los Dos and Cooking with Mario is definitely a fabulous, worthwhile event to go to, or adventure to go on. And I have to say, it's not just cooking with Mario. It's really much more of a big experience, because not only is it cooking in the kitchen, but it's going to the market, and Mario will introduce you to some of the vendors who are there. You get to try some cochinita pibil, which is out of this world. But it's not just confined to the classroom. So I definitely would recommend anybody who's got some interest in cooking and eating. And actually, if you're just into it for eating, that's a good way to go to, is to make sure to contact Mario and make a plan to spend some time with him in Mérida at Los Dos. So, Mario, thanks so much for everything, and I hope to be cooking with you really soon. I was cooking last night, and I had my Los Dos apron on as I was making some camarons, some shrimps for dinner.
That sounds great. So thank you for all your support, Kay. I really appreciate it, and you have your home here with us, and anytime you want to come back, we will be here to cook again.
Hey, everybody, before you go, just want to remind you to visit today's show notes at locogringo.com/podcast, because I'm sure Mario shared so much, you probably missed a couple little things that you didn't jot down. And so we'll have links over to all the great spots that he shared with us. And certainly you want to jot down his restaurant recommendations for your upcoming trip to Yucatan. Well, everyone, thanks so much for joining us today, and hasta la vista.
Thanks for listening. If you like the show, be sure to subscribe. For links, show notes, and more information, head on over to locogringo.com or give us a call toll-free at 800-478-0081.
Porque se tragó la luna, estaba enferma la rana. Su madre soba que soba, dedos de pluma la panza. Pensó ranita que luna era una toronja blanca. Y aunque la luna es de leche, la leche estaba cortada. Croa, croa, dedos de pluma. Croa, croa, dedos de agua.